Hey,
Hello, hello. Always waiting for it to kick in. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 46 of Coffee with Campus Consultancy. Thanks for joining this morning. What's on for your Wednesday? Are you drinking a tea, coffee, or anything in between? Let us know in the comments below. Say hello. We'll flash you up on the screen. And I'll introduce you in just a moment to our amazing guest, Ocean. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can steal your own professional development, professional learning journey. What does it mean? How do you do it? What are the points that resonate? How do you cut through some of the noise and get to the stuff that's great? And is it the same great stuff for everybody, or is it different? So we're going to dig into all of that and more after this quick introduction. And after this, I'll introduce you to our guest, Ocean. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
good. What's a nice video?
Oh, thanks, buddy. A good buddy of mine, Anthony, who's also a former student, whipped that up. So it's
Nice one.
it's a gem. I often wonder if people are tuning in. They're like, okay, we keep seeing this video. Or whether do you get used to it, like when you get used to a TV show? Who knows, mate? Who knows?
Cool.
Ocean, tell the world, who is Ocean? What are you about? And when did you start this journey of personal or professional development? Obviously, academics are important, but when did you really become conscious of going above and beyond and knowing there was more to learn?
Yeah, cool. Hi guys. So my name's Ocean. I
You're
graduated last
muted,
year.
my friend, somehow. Try unmuting one more time.
Can you hear me?
Your audio has oddly cut out. Can
That's
someone in the
weird.
comments let me know, can you hear my audio? And then if Ocean, I'm not sure if we can hear Ocean.
Hello.
Maybe just try Ocean. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Do you want to try
I'm not-
unplugging your
I'm not-
headphones, disconnecting, and
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yes, no? Can you hear me now?
it's so weird. This was working. Oh, Laura,
No.
you can hear?
I can hear. I can't hear you.
Huh. Let's try this. Laura can hear both. Ocean, just say something one more time.
Hey guys. Can you hear?
Okay, everyone can hear us both. I've pulled out my headphones. Maybe my headphones just spontaneously died on me.
Cool.
Sorry, mate.
Good
It's just
issue.
a minor technical issue. Thanks, Laura, Sophie, and Lizzie. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying. So, when did you start doing that above and beyond with PD?
Yeah, cool. I guess I just start with a short introduction of myself. So I'm Ocean. I am a graduate from UQ last year. I am now working for an experiential learning technology company called Patera. So we really empathize experiential learning and learn by doing and reflecting. So my personal development journey start with my pretty young age in my early uni. So in my first year of uni. So I was, I guess, as an international student myself, I was, really dumped into the academic world, have a mindset of, you need to study really hard, get really good grade to get really good GPA to get a good job after your graduation. So I tried to study really hard in my first semester. And in the meantime, I applied for an ambassador program from Study Brisbane, so from a study cluster. And I was really lucky. I got into that program, and I met a lot of people, especially for other ambassadors. They were in their late uni, like in their final year or in the master or PhD. So while I was talking to them, I became more mature. Like when we were having conversations, and I could see like two type of people. One is they were well prepared for their career, well prepared for the workplace, and another type of people, they were quite panicked when they almost graduate. So I was thinking, okay, I'm in my first year. I was in my first year. I still can work hard and try different things rather than just studying. And that's why I start approaching people, getting mentors in my first year. Went to a lot of workshops. Start building my LinkedIn presence. And I guess just like 3 years step by step, and I build some presence online, and also just met people that's really helpful in my career. So I started in my first semester, and I'm really lucky I made that decision.
Yeah, interesting. And what do you think the difference was? I like that distinction between feeling prepared or feeling panicked. When
Mhm.
you met people as a younger student, you went, "Well, okay, they seem like they're prepared. They know what they're doing." And then that other person, for whatever reason, doesn't feel as prepared and maybe is showing some signs of panic. Did you dig into that? What was the difference? What did those two people do differently?
I guess the main difference is the confidence between the two type of people. So for people who had done some kind of internship or volunteering or some kind of work experiences, they were quite confident when they out in an event. But for people who were just focusing on academic or just studying or didn't do much, they were a bit shy in events and wasn't able to talk to people in a way that can networking and those kind of things. So yeah, so I guess that's the main difference. Yeah. I would say yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, and often that concept gets thrown around the other way, where people say like, "Oh, I'll get confident and then I'll do something. Like I'll get really confident at public speaking and then I'll start, or I'll get confident that I can apply for this job and then I'll apply." And it works exactly the opposite way around.
Yeah,
Someone
exactly.
someone said, if I can't remember the attribution, they said if I only ever did things I was confident at, I'd be stuck somewhere pushing a broom. And there's nothing wrong with pushing a broom if that's your calling, if that's your desire. But that idea of like, if you only do what you can already do, you're stuck in that safe zone. You won't be in that learning or that growth zone, and you won't expand. So the super importance of doing things outside of your comfort zone. But that can also be scary. So when you saw these people who'd done these internships, they'd done volunteering, they'd started to get involved, you'd obviously already reached out and got into that program yourself. What did you do next? Like, how did you start chasing and pursuing all the different things that you do now and all the different learning that you do?
Yeah. So I was really lucky. I was in an ambassador program, and I was, I did a few internships in my first year, and I was thinking, okay, what's next? What can I do to challenge myself? And I started a business. So in my second year, I started a business called Startup Interns, and that's led to my current employment as well. So what I was doing is an experiential learning program to connect students with startups in Queensland to brainstorm ideas to do.
Sorry, Ocean, don't mean to interrupt you there. I'm so sorry. I've lost your audio again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, this is so strange. My laptop, for whatever reason, I don't know if I have a problem on my end, but the audio. Do you want to say something one more time?
Okay.
Okay, so for now, for some reason, I can hear you in my headphones. I'm so sorry. This is weird. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry, my friend. Continue.
Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so in my second year, I started a business, Startup Interns, and I guess that's how we know each other as well. So we got a grant from a government body to run programs for them. So like when I was running my business, I learned a lot of skills and build my confidence and just the connections, how to approach people, how to apply for grants, when you get the money, what you're gonna do with the money, and how to manage the risk, and especially if you're getting government money, and those kind of things. So really good learning of myself, and I guess like same to you, right? Like the enterprise skills, like the resilience, and the consistency of running a business, getting things up, and that's really important. Yeah.
I love it. And what were some of the early things that you learned there in terms of, I know quite recently you shared a post on LinkedIn and you were talking about some of the best quotes or the best advice you got from different mentors and people along the journey. What were some of those principles that maybe you learned that you hadn't come across before, you hadn't seen in a traditional classroom setting, things that really helped you?
Yeah. So for those who are watching this podcast, jump on my LinkedIn and see my last two posts. So I mentioned some of the inspirational message from my mentors and from my former managers. So I have a habit of having a Trello board to record all the recommendations or reminders from people. And I just, go back to those messages time to time to reflect and to see what I was there and what I'm here, and the differences between, my past and now. So I concluded 8 calls on my LinkedIn. So and that's for my first unpaid internship toward my first paid full-time job. So yeah, I guess one of my favorites, like all of them are my favorites, but one resonated me the most is the one from Joe. That was my second internship. So when I was working for an accelerator, and my manager was saying, so sometimes learning what you want to do is as valuable as learning what you want to do. So I guess that's really important because in my early career, I mean like early 20, it's the best time to try whatever you can and try as much as you can to see what you like, what you don't like, what your passion, what you're less passionate about, and that's determine your next 5-10 years. So yeah.
And what did that look like? Knowing that you're still relatively early in that journey, what did that look like for you in terms of what did you try that you realized you actually didn't like?
Yeah, I guess same as a lot of not stereotyping, but same as a lot of Asian, Chinese students. They really want to work in a bank or really want to work in accounting, finance, this kind of thing. So I had the same mindsets a couple of years ago as well. I want to work in iBank, want to work in consultant, Big Four and stuff. But I appreciate that, and I was trying. I met a lot of people, and I got a chance to work in the financial institutions last year in Israel. And I just find, actually, that's not really my passion right now. I may jump back in the next 5-10 years.
And what was it about it that you didn't like? Like specifically in going to that experience, what was it about? Was it the environment? Was it the work? Was it the type of clients? Was it what was that moment when you were like, oh, this isn't, I don't enjoy this?
Yeah, I guess just the money talk, and the whole industry is talking about efficiency and money, and I find my passion is more toward educations and making an impact. I'm not saying like bankers or
Sure.
people.
No, not to pull a generalization out of it.
Yeah, no. But I guess just the nature of work. I prefer what what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
That's interesting. I've not heard someone articulate it like that before. Like a big part of, there's the work of like, are you good at it? Do you like it? Does it align with your values? There's the environment and then the people you work with or the clients you work with. But I like that idea of what words do you hear every day? What are people focused on and talking about? It might sound really obvious, but if people are talking about money every day, does that work for you? If people are talking about construction and concrete every day, does that work for you? People are talking about schools and parents or talking about kids or people who are elderly or talking about people from a certain community. Like, are you interested in hearing about that all day, every day? And if not, like, I think that's really interesting. Like, I've never dug into that idea of the vocabulary of a job before.
I guess
that's funny. So when you're around people and it's largely talking about money, when did you realize, because you said, oh, I'm much more interested in education. Where did that come in? How did you come upon that? Was it a particular experience? Did you watch or read something? How did you find that out?
Yeah, I guess especially when I was working for my own business, I work with like educators and I work with universities directly, and I can see the impact straight away to students. So for a bank, yes, you can see the impact for people. But like when I was working on my startups, I can see the transformation to the students from the week 1 of my program to week 3. Like it's totally changing the mindset and changing their behavior, their attitude and everything. So I guess in my early career, I do want to keep pursuing what I already set up and what I'm really passionate about at the moment. So yeah.
And you mentioned one of the points before. You said that in that post, you said your passion should be a major intrinsic motivation, that it's something that you genuinely like to do. And I think you dug into that a little bit before. What is it about education you think that lights you up? Education's, for some people, they love it. They can't get enough of it. And for others, the idea of being an educator is the worst nightmare. What is it for you that lights you up about seeing people learn and develop and grow?
Yeah, that's really interesting. So this quote is actually from my professor, from my supervisor, Lee Ching, so from Deakin. So I was doing some research project with her, and at a point of time, I was thinking to pursue, an academic career, to do a PhD and stuff. And this quote resonated me the most. Like, what's my intention and what's motivating me the most? So yes, always follow your passion and follow your desire, because how you learn is determined by how you reflect and how much you passionate in one thing. So and up to a point that's like, okay, I like the topics, I like doing research, blah blah blah, but is this something I really want to do now? Probably not. So yeah.
I like that idea with the passion too. I think passion's practical. Like if it's, and some people go, passion's so practical. How do I figure out my passion? And I think that's loose. When I hear passion, I think, is there something that you like doing that you're good at? And can you find one of those two? And if you're watching this right now and you're studying a degree or working in a job that you don't like, or you're not good at, or you don't enjoy getting better at, like there's a massive problem there. And the problem's practical. The problem is, if you want to be good at anything, if you want to like succeed at anything, grow at anything, have your job be exciting and change, putting in effort is a variable. Like putting in the work, putting in the time. And you're not going to put in the time and effort to something above and beyond the minimum if you don't enjoy it. So I think it's practical to say, I think there needs to be a focus when we know in Australia, out of every 7 workers, less than 1 of them actually loves what they do, is passionate about what they do. That to find something that actually lights you up such that you will go above and beyond, because at the end of the day, it's a competitive market, and students know this right now, that more than ever in the graduate field, it's competitive. We're going to have 2 years worth of university students competing for the same graduate programs in the same jobs. And so finding something you enjoy, so you go above and beyond, so you excel, so you're rewarded, is a very virtuous cycle that is hard to find if you don't find something that you enjoy. But I love your idea.
Try as much as you can first to see what you like, what you like and what you don't really like, and then make the decision later. Because what you like may not necessarily mean what you will hate in the next 5-10 years. So I guess try as many as you can. And as you grow, your mindsets change as well.
I think that's really practical too, of trying lots of things. I mean, it sounds like you found something at the moment that you really enjoy quite quickly. For me, it took 5 years to find the thing that I was like, yes, this is what I want to jump out of bed and do every day. So I think that's really interesting too, is being patient there. In terms of your development journey now, how do you manage it now that you are working, you are graduating? One of the questions I get all the time is, how do you find time to read the books, listen to the podcasts, watch the talks, do the courses, go to the seminars? So how do you manage your time, and how do you think about your week to make sure that you're still learning, even though you are working now?
Yeah, so the channel board is really helpful. So just have a systematic way to, manage your own learning, I feel. So one thing I learned the most, of course, is from other people. So from my previous experience. So as mentioned, I would research that board over and over, time to time, to do like a weekly, monthly reflection. And also it's hard when you're working full time, and it's hard to go into every single podcast and stuff. But I guess at least you need to stay engaged with your industry. And pick the webinars or the podcast you should listen. Like for myself, I work really close with the education and international education industry. So I would make time to listen to the Insta Guy, like they do a lot of industry facing webinars and stuff. Just keep myself up to date with what the industry is doing. Here. Yeah. So and within books and stuff, yes. So I'm a big fan of startups. So I have been going to startup again and hackathons. Online startup again and hackathons and stuff. So I guess yes, you can spend your weekend to hustle yourself and learn from those experiences as well. So yeah.
Ocean, I'd love to hear a little bit about. You mentioned a little bit earlier starting your own business, but now also taking a full-time job after you graduated university. And I think one of those things that we see a lot of right now is starting a business is actually really, really easy when you break it down. Of like, you register for an ABN, you get some insurance, you make a website. Like, you can do it in an evening. Like, anybody watching this can go from not having a business to having a business today in 24 hours. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy it, or it's going to make any money, or it's going to help anybody. That stuff's much harder and much more strategic. But the actual gears of creating a business are quite simple. Whereas you took that a lot further. You created it and brought it to life and brought in money and helped people. And like, you really you grew everything you were doing in the startup space. But then also you've acknowledged on at least whatever level, consciously or not, like, there's learning to be done in working full time with somebody else or with another organization. And I'm interested because one of the things I foresee happening is we've got all these sort of startups or like businesses being launched, but then running a business is really hard. We know 4% of them exist 10 years later. So how did you think about that transition? I guess my question is, how did you make the decision to go from I'm a student with a business to I'm a graduate and I know that there's learning to be done working with another group? And how did you go about choosing Practera to work with, who's an awesome organization? But how did you make that decision?
Yeah. So I guess just FYI, the work that I was doing, a couple of years ago with my business is quite similar to Practera, what they are doing, partly. So we kind of competitive in a way. Like, I mean, they didn't really treat us seriously back in the days, but we were looking up to them. Like, we were looking up, the software and how we build the technology and stuff. So, and my co-founder was working full time as well. He was working full time. So I was like, okay, if we can't beat them, how about join them? So end up working for them. And I mean, just really good learning. I mean, like, the structure of the company, the technical skills I'm getting in this company, in a high tech startup, in an edtech startup, and also my manager as well. So the founders and my managers are from consulting background, so get really good insights and skills and tools from a really systematic and structured way. So I guess in your if you're a student entrepreneur, if you have a business, yes, keep going. When you graduate, look at the market, look at your products, look at the problem you're trying to solve, and look at your own learning as well. If you see you can learn more from other people, I mean, it's worth to learn from someone for a couple of years and then come back to your business and do something else as well. So
yeah, I think that's really practical advice. I like that idea of when you're a student there's almost no risk in starting something. Like, if you're a student and you're listening to this right now and you walk into a job interview and you're like, when I was 20 or 21 or 38 or whatever, I decided on top of full-time study and on top of part-time work to pay the bills, I decided to start a business and have a go. Like, an employer is only going to look at that positively. Now, if you start a business and you do something horrible in the world and you cheat, lie, and steal, then maybe you're in a bit of trouble. But like, within the scope of what's legal and what's ethical, if you start a business and have a go, that's such a great thing to put in front of an employer and say you've done. But then I think, Ocean, your advice here is so practical of when you start to graduate or look at graduating, look at the market and say, okay, does this really stack up in a competitive marketplace? If not, if you can't beat them, join them. I love that too. I think that's really interesting. Was it difficult for you, that idea of, or did you entertain the idea of, I'm going to go into this full time versus I'm going to go and join Practera or another group?
Yeah, there was an interesting conversation. So Practera approached me quite early. Almost half a year before my graduation. So I was quite secure, with job application and stuff when I was graduating. But I was like, I got offer from corporate and from government agents and as well. But I really see my passion and learning in a startup because you learn much more. You learn widely in a startup because you can do a bit of everything. So I'm a business grad, but I'm also doing a bit of IT and configuration and doing like HTML and CSS stuff. So I guess if I'm working in, let's say, a government agent, I wouldn't get a chance to learn those tech, like those kind of skill sets. So I guess that's my own intention as well. Like, learn for a startup in my early career, and then that can transfer to other careers or other journeys.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to hear a little bit, and I know you're a busy person, you've got a lot going on, you're learning really broadly in everything that you're doing. I'd love to hear a little bit about one of the points that you made in that post on LinkedIn, which I loved, was your idea about being empathetic and that you'll work with at least 3 different generations in your career. I think that time of one of the big global conversations right now is about empathy, as rightly it needs to be always. But I think your point, you touched on something really specific there of working with people at different age groups and what they might have experienced. So if you'd be comfortable, I'd love to hear a little bit about that. Where did that come from? Who passed on that gem of wisdom to you? And how do you think about that now, working with people at different ages?
Yeah, so there was a reminder or a message from my manager when I was working for the business school, and there were some changes with like in the workplace. So people with managers walking between faculties and stuff, and it became pretty dynamic. So my former manager told me we just had like a really casual conversation, and I asked like, oh, you are young, but how can you manage people who are more mature and more, in terms of age, more experienced than you? And she said, yeah, be empathy and be empathetic. Understand people are different and people come from different backgrounds, different industries. Not everyone is good at technology. Some people, start using their phone or their laptop late in the age. So just thinking other people's shoes and thinking other people's shoes and approach them differently. So I guess that's what she was trying to say, and I think like, oh yeah, that's really authentic. And that's remind me a tech talk from Airbnb, I believe. So it was a conversation between the founder of Airbnb approaching a hotel, like getting mentors from the hotel industry and how they work together. An executive from hotels with Airbnb, the founders of Airbnb and how they work together. So I guess yes, be empathy. It's really important in the workplace. Yeah, be empathetic.
I love that. Google did, I know there's a study, we cite it sometimes from Google. I can't remember what the title of the study was. One of the biggest workplace studies ever done, if not the biggest. And they looked at, what made their teams good, what made the teams that created great things like Gmail and Google Calendar and delivered great products. And then what was the difference between the teams who didn't perform or didn't last? They found 7 factors, one of which was empathy. And then when they broke it down into the 2 that correlated most with people actually performing, one of those 2 was this idea of everybody in a team feeling comfortable around each other to share their ideas and people actually taking turns. So the idea of empathy, not just being like, oh, I can understand your perspective, but like practical, actionable empathy, where it says like, okay, I acknowledge that you have a different experience from me and I genuinely want to learn about your experience, your point of view, where you've been, what it looks like to you, and giving people space within a meeting to speak up and to share. And they found of everything of the 7, empathy being one of them, but the 2 that correlated most, one of the actions was just in a team environment, everyone being able to share their voice and be heard no matter what issue they wanted to speak about or whether their idea was perfectly formed. They just had a voice in the team. I thought that was such an interesting finding.
Yeah, and that's really accurate. And also necessary with your team, like with your clients and with people who work closely with. So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ocean, I really appreciate you digging into this today. And if people come to you, as I'm sure they will, over your career, and I'm sure they already do, and people often will ask, okay, well, this is great. I love this idea. I want to learn. Like, where do I start? So if you were a student, if you were addressing a group of first-year students or second-year students, and they're at university and they're thinking, okay, I've got through the first 6 months. I've managed this kind of COVID thing. I'm ready to step it up a gear. What could people think about doing, whether it's learning online or enrolling in a program or starting a business? What are some of the things that you benefited from that in hindsight you would say, yes, try this, give this a go?
Yeah, I guess I would say something different. I believe a lot of people say, doing online courses or listening to webinars and those kind of things. But I would say start doing actual stuff. Like, if there is no opportunity, just turn ABN yourself, be a freelancer or whatever, get some work experience, hand-on experience, and then build on that. So and that's why I did. Like, I registered my ABN really early, and I had that, and then set up a business. And in your case, you can just be a freelancer and do work for other people, or you can go on to platforms like Upwork, those kind of platforms to do freelancing as well. So get some money, but also learn skills and build your portfolio.
Yeah, I love the start doing stuff thing, and I think one of the biggest themes from the 46, I think now, Coffee with Campus consultancy shows we've done is so often, whether it's students, first years, final years, grads, 10 years into their career, 40 years into their career, almost always one of the most constant themes that comes up is people go, just do it. Like very Nike,
Yeah.
Someone once said in the comment, like, how do I just start doing it? And like, that sounds easier said than done. But really that idea of trying something, starting the business, enrolling in the student club. Like if you're not a member of a student club, Google student clubs at insert my university, student clubs at Griffith, student clubs at UQ. Find them, enroll, go to their events, meet people, put your hand up, offer to get involved. And I think that can
and also those professional bodies as well. Like if you're studying accounting, go to CPA, go to events. If you're studying computer science, go to the computer society and those kind of things from the official professional bodies. Because it's amazing when you are the earliest in the event. I mean, when you are the youngest in the event and you are the earliest there. And you just tell people like you're eager to learn and you are here to mingle and you're here to wow. So yeah,
I think that's a great point too. That's super practical. Where could you go that you're the youngest person there?
Yeah,
and sort of flip it rather than go, oh, I'm not experienced enough. Action, like take it as a challenge from us today to find a group of people where you will be the youngest person there, and then use that as a, well, I'm just here. I'm curious to learn. I'm here to listen. I think that's a great concept. That's cool. Ocean, my friend, thank you for your time today. It's been awesome to have us. If people want to check you out, follow along, learn more about you, where's the best place for them to go?
Just check out my LinkedIn. And I do content regularly as well, same as you, Josh. And I guess we do share content as well. So just get up to date and yeah.
Awesome. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. We wish you all the best. Everyone, thank you for tuning in and listening to us today. We hope you learned something from this. If you did get something out of today, we'd love to hear what it is. So whether it's adding Ocean and sending Ocean a message, checking out some of his recent posts on his page, or sending me a message, or popping it in the comments below. What was something that you got out of today? What will you do? What will you try? What will you start? And as Ocean says, start doing stuff, which I love. It's practical, it's simple, and we know it works. So thanks for joining us today. We will see you again tomorrow. And Ocean, one final time, thank you, my friend, for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Awesome. Bye, mate. Bye, everybody.